it's ready to go. There's absolutely no cleanup, and that's why I say the projects coming off of the UV laser are some of the best that I've ever seen off of any type of laser machine. Hi everyone, welcome to the Laser Channel where we learn, create, and share. My name is Greg, and this is the 10-watt UV laser by Monport. With that, let's jump into it straight away. UV lasers are gaining popularity mainly because of the price breaks over the past 2 years. Just a couple of years ago, a setup like this would have easily ran between $8,000 to $15,000. This Monport 10-watt machine is just a little north of $4,000, which is still a significant investment by any means, but it is a lot more accessible for small business owners and pro consumers. I think the most interesting thing about UV lasers is it is a cold processing laser. Technically, it's going to be a photochemical ablation, which means this is not going to use heat like any of the other laser machines we ever used. This next part is really cool. I looked it up on Google, wrote it down to make sure I get it correct. When the concentrated UV beam hits the material, the energy level is so intense that it excites the molecules. Instead of generating heat, the molecules simply break apart and release as a gas or a vapor. The machine is naturally going to produce a very small spot size. This is going to result in incredible detail and incredibly thin cut lines. This is some of the best detail and thinnest cut lines that I've ever seen on any machine that's come through the Laser Channel. We're going to be checking that out later on in this video when I do a couple sample projects where I both engrave and cut. And now it's time to power up the machine. There is a certain order in which this machine gets powered up, so I'm going to take a quick 30 seconds to show you what that looks like. I'll grab the camera off the tripod. Well, since we're looking at the back of the machine, we'll check out the chiller really quick. There is going to be an outlet and an inlet, and that goes up to the machine, of course. Those can get plugged into either of the ports, and now onto the power. Down here is going to be the main power switch. We flip that on first. I'm also going to make sure that the power switch on the back of the unit is pushed in. I left that off for a while, and it took me a little bit to figure out that there is a power switch on the back of the machine as well. On the front of the machine, I will reset the emergency push button and press the laser power switch, and the machine itself is all powered up. And lastly, there's the water chiller, but this is not your average everyday water chiller. This is very specific to the 10-watt UV laser by Monport. See, UV lasers have a very sensitive laser source. They want to operate at a very specific temperature, typically at 25 degrees C. This is going to ensure that. And this has a built-in heater to bring it up to temperature. And of course, the chiller unit will bring the temperature down when the ambient room temperature is too high or the laser source is starting to get too warm. I'll get this powered on now. And I'll remove the protective wrap. The set point from the factory is 25 degrees C. We can see the actual temperature is 21.2 degrees C. And I've got a little indicator here saying that the internal heater on this unit is on, so it brings it up to that set point of 25 degrees C. This is going to take about 5 minutes. And we're almost ready here, but I want to talk about safety real quick. Anytime we run a laser machine, we do want to protect our eyes and, if we need to, our skin. When I look up a UV laser, if there's ever a laser source that we want to protect our eyes and skin against, it's going to be a UV laser. So for the eyes, there's no better safety than these safety glasses. And if I'm doing a lot of running around the machine, I like to just simply have on a long sleeve shirt. That seems to work pretty well. I believe Monport does offer a safety enclosure that goes around the machine that is eye friendly. That way I don't need the safety glasses or a long sleeve shirt. I think I might reach out to them after this video and see if that's available. So more to come on that in the future. The machine does come with this really nice toolbox. Here's everything that is in that box. Nice pair of safety glasses, as we saw before. This is tuned for the UV light source, by the way. There's a foot activated switch. This plugs into the back of the machine. There's two attachment rails. They go in the work area of the machine for repeat positioning of work materials. A USB adapter. A USB drive with some nice files on it. Specifically, there is the Lightburn device profile on here. This is going to correctly configure the UV laser machine up to Lightburn software. And a nice full set of wrenches. And lastly, a nice stainless steel scale for setting and checking the machine focus. I'm inside Lightburn software, and of course I took the Lightburn file from that USB stick we just saw, loaded into the software, and I have no problems connecting up to the machine, and Lightburn is properly configured. We'll check out the first graphic that I have loaded in. It's a nice little pattern here that's perfect for coasters. I'm actually going to be engraving some glass, and that's because I went over to the Dollar Tree and picked up some materials. I'm not affiliated with the Dollar Tree, but when learning a new machine, the best place I know to get cheap, consistent supplies for testing out a machine, getting those settings, is the Dollar Tree. I've got this platter here that's out of wood, and this nice square framed piece of glass. This is what we're going to be engraving first. And for extras, in case I mess something up, because that does happen, I do have these other frames that have glass panes. This is where I source my glass for checking out different settings when learning a new machine. And I also have my own piece of wood material here. We are going to be engraving and cutting this for the last project in today's video. To keep track of all the settings that work and don't work, I picked up a composition book and I wrote down what machine the book is for. And then I've always got a nice hard copy of different projects, and different projects I work for different customers, so I can always go back and put those repeat settings in. I know that Lightburn does have a built-in library, but I always like to have a paper backup copy as well. Let's check out the settings, and there's some interesting stuff in here with UV lasers. We have our speed, frequency, Q pulse like we would expect, our lines per inch. We'll see I'm running crosshatch, but what's really interesting is the max power is grayed out. UV lasers don't set the maximum output, and while I'm still learning this machine, I'm finding that the frequency and the Q pulse is a great way to modulate or control the effective energy coming out of the laser machine itself. Now, the settings that I have here, I've pre-tested, but they may not be optimized. So if you're following along at home with your machine, I think these are going to be some really great start settings. I just realized I'm trying to hold up a clear piece of glass to go, hey, I've got glass in my hand. I'm going to place that in the machine. I'm actually going to put a piece of sheet aluminum underneath it. That way, if I miss the piece of glass, I don't start marking up the laser bed there as well. The really cool thing with UV lasers is I can directly engrave glass. I don't have to put any temper paint or any transfer compound on the glass itself. I can just simply put it underneath the machine, set the focus, and start lasering. It is really just that easy. And with that, I'm gonna get my safety glasses on, the exhaust fan on, and let's get started on our first glass engraving project. And we're just about done here. I want to show you a one-shot view of this coming off of the laser machine and the camera view to you. And with that, we are all complete. Get the exhaust system turned off. I can finally get these things off. I always like to tape down my project material so it doesn't shift around during the engraving process. Now this still has a little bit of dust on it, and here is the engraving side. I'll flip it over, and here is the presentation side. See if I can catch a nice light reflection there. So nice and smooth on this side. This side here, I can actually feel that it was engraving into the glass. It's not that it texturized just the surface. This is actually digging down into the glass, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna get this all set up. I'm gonna wipe down all that glass dust that I just got done touching. We'll wipe that off with some Windex here. I think that Windex is all done. While the project was running, I cut this black piece of cardstock as a background, and now I can reassemble everything back into the frame. Get this all set up in here, and here is our completed $1.25 project. Put that right there. For project number 2, I have the serving tray that I picked up from the Dollar Tree as well. It has a bunch of these beads that were just simply hot melt glued onto this piece of particle board. It's kind of a fiberboard core with this piece of, I'm not sure what it is on the surface here, but we're gonna check to see if the UV laser can engrave into this material, and we get some contrast to see if our graphic shows up. Quick word on project number 1, the aluminum sheet that I had down. It's a good thing I had that there because some of the laser energy went straight through the glass, marking this piece of aluminum. Having this down keeps my machine looking brand new, and if you don't have a piece of aluminum like this, you can always use some aluminum foil. It will protect just as well. Now we're on to project number 2. I've loaded in my next graphic. We may have seen this on the laser channel before. It is a happy dog drinking a cup of coffee. I'll double click on the settings and we can check out the reference settings that I've been using for engraving wood. We've got the speed, the frequency, the Q pulse, the lines per inch, and running crosshatch at 45 degrees. On this project, I only need to do one pass in that crosshatch. And with that, once again, I'll get the air filter system turned on, or the exhaust, my safety glasses on, and we'll watch this next project being made. Check this out. There's basically no smoke coming off of this wood engraving, and in fact, I'm not even sure if that's smoke. It might be just wood dust itself from the UV lasering process. I'm also seeing that there's absolutely no smoke residue that I have to clean up after this project is done. We're almost done. I did go back and add a second pass, and the engraving is really popping on this cheap piece of Dollar Tree project platter. With that, everything is all done, and let's check this out. Get my tape off of here, and this is coming directly off of the machine. I have not cleaned this whatsoever, and check that out. That is perfectly clean, and all the detail on here is absolutely perfect. I changed the focusing on the camera so we can get a nice detailed close-up on this, because the detail of this engraving is absolutely perfect. And actually, as I feel around on here, I can feel not wood residue, but little wood particles that came off, and all I have to do is just blow that off. But there's absolutely no smoke residue to get off of this project because there is none. We've now come to the third and final sample project in today's video, and for that I have this piece of thin bass plywood. I'm going to not only be engraving, but also cutting on this. And because I'm cutting, I am going to take a smaller piece of honeycomb paneling that I have and get that set up on here. We'll meet back up within Lightburn and check out the project file for this final project. The last sample project is going to be this off-road truck. We're going to see that it's got 2 layers. I have an engraving layer, and then the red layer is going to be the cut layer. And we'll check out what I've got for the engraving layer. Here's all of my settings for engraving this bass plywood. They're going to be the same as what I used for the last wooden project. And here's my settings for the cut layer. We'll see that I've got the number of passes set to 3, and if I need to, I can always add more. That looked like I only needed 1 pass for the cutout, so we'll take a look at this right away. And that pops just out, and check that out. There's absolutely no smoke residue on the surface whatsoever. And here's our final project, number 3. Actually going to turn off the framing function real quick here so we don't have the dancing red lights as we're checking this out. See if we can get an edge view. This has absolutely no smoke residue on it whatsoever. I'm just checking out the last project here. I see that it's a little bit darker across the bottom. You may have seen that when I first took this off the machine and I checked it out. That has to do with the wood material itself and not the machine. I also didn't show you the back side of the cutout, which is perfectly clean. Once again, on both of the wood projects, there's no smoke residue whatsoever to clean off of this. So once the project comes off of the machine, it's ready to go. There's absolutely no cleanup, and that's why I say the projects coming off of the UV laser are some of the best that I've ever seen off of any type of laser machine. Thanks for joining me in this video, and I hope that you'll join me in future videos. And if you like this video, don't forget to show it some love by giving it a like or subscribing to the channel. Not only is it a great way to help this channel grow, but it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with great viewers just like you. And until we meet again in the next video, I'm Greg from the Laser Channel, where we learn, create, and share.